Let's get right into another episode of the Hollow Points podcast, where we accept the challenge of providing dangerous, thought-provoking, and sometimes controversial insights into life's most common topics.
Everybody's trying to get into this situation to create this project, this Frankenstein's monster, where you get this guy and you clean him up and you take him out, and then he's saying yes ma'am and no ma'am to your grandma and your moms and your aunties, and he bringing in groceries, and he cool with your uncles and them, and then at the club he got to fight to prove his love for you, you know what I'm saying? And he's buying out the bar and all that kind of stuff, but also he's making sure y'all got enough money for a rainy day. It's just too much. It's overwhelming. And anytime you putting that kind of pressure on a guy to be that uh much, he gonna crack. Nobody can keep that shit up for 30, 40 years. I don't
No,
know
I
the
mean
dude.
even
I don't
even
know the dude.
Superman couldn't.
Huh?
Superman couldn't keep it up. Superman couldn't
Mm-mm.
keep it up.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, he had to let Lois go for a little while. Like,
Yeah.
damn, Lois, you want too much.
Exactly. So you have to be considerate to that as far as pacing yourself in any race. You have to pace yourself. You have to practice. You have to pace yourself throughout the race, and that's what relationships are. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. You got women that come in and they want to give you they fucking 5 year plan on the first date for what? Man, let me see if you can conjugate a verb, or if you chew with your mouth open or something before you start telling me that you want to open a business, and then a lot of this stuff be aspirational. It's I've never been on a first date where she said I just like to maintain who I am.
But
I
wouldn't that
just
be a
like
turn off too? Because you walked
here's
in on water. You walked in with too much confidence.
yeah, ain't that crazy?
I want to maintain who I am.
Ain't that crazy? Man, recently I've and the bad part about it is that's not even age specific. It's as simple as this. You 26 years old. You come in, we on I'm 26 too. We go on a date and you say, I say, so, how do you like your job? How's your life going? Anything that I need to know about you? And you say, finish school, on a good schedule to pay off these loans. The career I'm in, I really like it. I like my coworkers. Everything is headed in the direction that I wanted it to be in. I got my health. I got my mom and dad. And you just had that type of vibe. I could rock with that all day, every day. Because you don't need anything. You don't need me to come save you. You don't need me. You're not yelling how independent and singing all the songs and popping your neck and fingers and shit. But you just saying, man, I'm good. And I just like to maintain good. Good is a theme. It's not necessarily you showing me your bank stub and you show me pictures of you in different places, on yachts and all of that. It's you just being good with you. And the one thing that you realize is people that's cool, is people that's cool with themselves. And so when you're not talking big and talking about, I'm trying to build generational, what everything is aspirational in your first conversation, I can't do that. That's ignorant. That's ignorant. We having a wish conversation first time I done met you. Yeah, I just,
That's
eventually
that's
I
called
like
an
to,
interview. That's
that's
called a
crazy.
job interview. Yeah.
What you say there?
I said that's called a job interview.
Man,
We having all them conversations.
I'm telling you, but the beauty of it was when I lived in the ATL when I was in my late 20s. I realized they bring the resumes, boy. They don't memorize the elevators pitches or whatever you want to call it, and that's what they own. They own partnerships. They own joint ventures, trying to put something together from a portfolio perspective. And the reason why they do that is because in a lot of those relationships, they will go in hard, combine they opportunity to propel themselves financially, go on trips, hang out, drive nice, have a nice crib or whatever. And then when the shit go left, you walking away with something that y'all was able to exhaust each other to, uh, up until that point. And now you got your 30s and 40s to now that you settled and you didn't got that all out your system. And I just wasn't on that pace, but I understood where they was coming from because they hadn't seen a lot of relationships that not only were successful, but also had the other. attributes that society finds valuable in success, meaning the cars and the furs and the house and the this and that. People don't realize that people bring up Marjorie and Steve Harvey all the fucking time. First of all, she was with somebody before she was with Steve Harvey, and he was with I think 2 or 3 women, and I think he was married twice before he got with Marjorie.
Yeah,
He
yeah, I
didn't meet
think so.
Marjorie like this. Marjorie had got beat down. Yeah, she had got beat down by life and humbled herself to this. If she was that great with the other dude, why is she available? And if he was that great and writing books, how can you tell me about relationships and this and that if you just keep failing in relationships? The worst thing that could happen to Steve Harvey right now is him and Marjorie fail. Because then what the hell was you not applying that you was giving all that game on? And it's easy to give all this game and all of that when you have the person. Let me just say this. I'll say this, and this will say enough for me. I have no idea what Marjorie went to school for.
Yeah, me.
Have no idea what her occupation was before they met.
Well, I think she went to school for finding rich dudes.
Oh.
That's what she actually studied. I don't know what she got her degree in, but she studied finding rich dudes, and her daughter's studying the same thing.
Well, here's the issue though. Who was her dad? Because her daughter is Lori, right?
Yeah, right.
So if it's a situation where let's use Sierra as another example because we're gonna bring it back up. Russell Wilson and Future are obviously 2 different kind of guys, personality wise. But from a financial stability perspective, Sierra has a type.
She does.
See, people focus on how could she be with Bow Wow and 50 and Future and then end up with Russell Wilson. How does Bank of America evaluate these 4 gentlemen?
Right, exactly.
It's
She
a
already
similar
knew that she was ready to retire. So she kept working on her different retirement plans.
Exactly. She just dabbled in the market. Some stocks appreciate, you know what I'm saying, and some stocks don't. But she stayed in her wheelhouse, which is a financial threshold. There was something that a lot of women think is cute to say, I don't want an industry guy. I just want a regular Joe. I think it was Leanne Rhymes that married a paramedic or some junk like that. And then that nigga was a gump because he had a job that he had went to school, trained for, got certifications in, and all of that. Married her, and because of her money, stopped doing the job and moved wherever she was. Yeah, I don't got. I don't got that. I don't
But
know the. Was that?
to your point though,
Mm-hmm.
Sierra knew her
Mm-hmm.
score. I don't know if she
Mm-hmm.
went to her friends or went to whoever, but she knew her score.
Mm-hmm.
She was like, she asked her friends like, "Hey, how am I doing in this music thing?" And her friends are honest, like, "Hey, if Aaliyah was still alive, you wouldn't even exist. Those are the
Right.
tracks they was gonna give Aaliyah. So you need to get yourself together and act right, because you ain't making no more records."
Let me tell you the beauty of what Sierra did. The real beauty that people don't give her credit for. There was this thing that was going around, and I don't know this as much as my wife does, but it was a situation where early on in their relationship, they was talking about how they was taking it slow. The reason why I'm saying this is because it was funny to me, and I'll explain why. They was taking it slow. They was being real Christian about it, and they hadn't messed around or all this other stuff, and they was on that old fashioned, non-fornication type situation. Now, Russell Wilson had been married to a busted white chick and they had got
Mm-hmm.
divorced after he got into the league. Okay. Now keep in mind,
Right.
Russell Wilson had money before he got into the NFL because he was a baseball player, a professional baseball player. So he had money in college from playing Major League Baseball. So
Mm-hmm.
the point of it was he had some money, he had some sense, that kind of stuff. He realized it wasn't gonna work out with Becky. Now, Sierra was with Future and had a kid. I don't care who else she was with. Let's just talk about the fact that she was with Future and had a kid. You
Mm-hmm.
can't renovate your body to where it's not as if you'd have been ran through already. You had already been run through. But because she found out and did her recon on the type of dude he was, she put the effort into selling a different subset of products.
Hmm.
So because Future could care less about her taking it slow. You with me?
Right, right, yeah, right,
she
right.
she had all the goodies when she was with Future and all of the moves. You know what I'm saying?
Or
They was
if
gonna be in the
Future
club.
had required that, then she would have turned into that.
And thank you. She adjusted her product to fit the market. And this is the problem. You have women that go into situations and don't want to make adjustments because they feel like inappropriately they're good enough. You and Dwayne was together for 4 years. Y'all didn't make it, but you still gonna try to be the same chick you was with Dwayne with? No, you need to evaluate this new cat
That's my
and see what
issue.
he
Yeah, you.
desires.
That's what I mean. Why are you bringing this same 5 to every relationship? Bring a
Exactly.
5.5 to the next one.
Exactly. 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 But I think that the thing about it is, once again, that's the arrogance in the concept of, or maybe it's even audacity. The audacity of it is you failed in one, two, three, four relationships. But if I ask you, how different are you now than you was when you was 22? Or how different are you now in relationships than you was, in your other previous or significant relationships? You programmed to say the same. Then I think, oh, that's not good. That's not good. If I've had
You
five
awful. Yeah.
companies, if I've had five companies fold, and I say, how are you going to approach this new company? And you say the same as I've approached the other ones, it's just a matter of timing. Yeah, I'm not investing in that company.
Yeah. You're an awful leader.
You're awful.
So
You're awful.
that's
You don't
that's
mean yourself no good.
also that's so that's see Russell led a certain way. It's a
Hmm.
lot of women who would have been under Russell and been like, I ain't following him because he ain't leading me the way I'm supposed to be led.
Hmm.
But Sierra didn't say that. She
Hmm.
followed it. She didn't say that with Future either. I'm sure she went that direction too until
Absolutely.
it couldn't work out.
Until it didn't
So
work
it's
out. Exactly. And see, a
the
lot of that was it didn't work out because she thought, because she submitted, and I'm making an assumption because of her personality that I believe I've seen. She thought when she was with Future and it was what it was, he was going to. A lot of people think that kids mature you, even though he had kids way before her. They think my shit's so good that this is gonna be the one to settle him down, and that's always dumb. If it's a woman out there and she fucking with a dude that's got kids already and he's not a apt father in any of those children's life, please don't think your shit's so good that this gonna be the one that magically make him a great dad. That's dumb. You're dumb. You're dumb. He's choosing these other women that he's chosen to have children with in the same way he chose you. Please think about yourself like that. Please don't believe that you're that much greater than these women. And so therefore your seed is gonna be the one that changes everything for him. No, that's dumb. You're dumb. But with that being said, I think it was a situation with her where she did believe that a kid is going to mature a guy, or a kid is going to attract a certain level of stability that didn't exist previously. And then when he didn't mature and it didn't change nothing, um, she realized how much of a bad investment it was, and she got out in time. She didn't just wallow in it. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. The
Everybody
thing
can't
about
be.
Sierra,
Go ahead.
even though
Go ahead.
I'm not a gold digger fan, but the thing
Uh huh.
about her, she studies film more than
Hmm.
Russell. She
Hmm.
studied the tape. She
Hmm.
researched and she does her homework.
Hmm.
Most women don't prepare. They just come in like I'm an all-star hooper. I don't care what the play is. I don't care what the schemes are. I'm just gonna play because I'm just that talented.
Well,
She's humble. You just made me see this now. I ain't never thought about this, but she's
yeah.
humble in the fact that she's like, yo, I don't know everything. Let me study the game to
Yep.
be happy. She
Yep.
prepared herself for love.
Yep. Well, keep in mind, not only did she prepare herself, study, and apply it, she also was so confident in her tutelage. She was confident in her lesson plan that even when people started talking shit about him being corny or her not this or that, she was able to stave off all of that. And now she's seen as uh that chick. Now keep in mind, there used to be Jada back in the day. There used to be Jada.
Yeah.
People used to think Will and Jada, Will and Jada, Will and Jada, not realizing what was really going on. Not to say that we know what's really going on with Russell Wilson and Sierra, but what I am saying is they tend to care a lot less about what people think and say than Will and Jada was. Will and Jada was always trying to shape their relationship for the consumption of public perception. And the one thing that if there's one thing I say that resonates more than anything else is your relationship is not a matter of public consumption and does not have to be appropriately interpreted by other people. You and your partner are the only two people that have to understand and appreciate your relationship. And if you talk to dudes and chicks, one of the biggest contributors to bad feelings in relationships or to relationships with good people not succeeding is their inability to translate their feelings about the relationship to random people. They mama, they baby mamas, they kids. I don't give a damn what more. If I love this girl and I think she's great for me, I need for my mom to give me data as to why I'm wrong. I need that. And I need her to tell me not only why I'm wrong, but why I could be doing better somewhere else. It's not just good enough to say, listen, she running through the money. She don't know how to cook. What else do women have nowadays? That's just all she all she do is get her hair and nails done and be posting on the gram and all of that kind of stuff. And then I say, okay, it's just like it's just like having a bad quarterback. You could have a Jimmy G and complain about Jimmy G, but who else is out there? If I dump her, I'm not gonna quit my job before I have another job. So people got all kind of shit to say. People could talk about Russell Wilson being corny and whoop woo this and that. And if Sierra fall for that and let that nigga go, who is she gonna be with?
And one of
Name that
those
dude.
women who said that is going to be with Russell.
Absolutely. Yeah, he was corny for her. He's not corny for me. I've always loved corny. People just didn't know. 'Cause I wouldn't put my business out there. Like that's how that shit.
Right.
That's how motherfuckers change on you real quick with. And so you have to be stable in your choices, your designation. Um, and that goes to how you raise your kids, how you name your kids, all of that kind of stuff. You can't be so worried about thumbs up, thumbs down as it relates to relationships. And you damn sure can't be worried about translating what's going on in your relationship to your friends and doing it to either try to prove something to them or for likes or whatever. It's a lot of things that we do that in our relationship that people wouldn't necessarily agree with. So when I say stuff like that, I'm like, we on the same fantasy football team. Ain't no reason to in the fantasy football league, excuse me. Ain't no reason for her to go tell her friends that because they'd be like, why are you doing that? They don't realize she loves it. You know, so she's into it. It's not something I drug her into. It's not something I asked. It's just something that we happen to enjoy. We got the an NBA league pass, and I come in and she be watching NBA games and talking shit about it because she like college basketball better. That type of stuff is. I didn't realize it was different until I started talking to the other niggas, and they was like, "Man, yo, so what you do with? So what your old lady be doing while you watching football? Watching football, like that shit. Like I never know. I don't I don't know the answer to that. And they be like, damn. And then you got these other people that's complaining, that's got their watch nagging them throughout the whole season. Like my daughter, she hates football, and so she constantly sighing when it's Sunday. When is this season gonna be over? And I can only imagine that's how some dudes' marriages is. You know, I don't
Right.
got no problem. I don't got no problems with my in-laws. A lot of people say they got problems with the in-laws. I'm not gonna have problems with somebody that don't have nothing to do with this in here. That doesn't even make sense. You giving people power that they shouldn't
You
have.
created the problem, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
If you
So,
establish your dominance and your rules,
hmm
it they never have a say so.
absolutely. But what happens is when you got to check with them. and you got to make sure you're trying to show. A lot of times that's an insecurity move. So basically, when you telling your business to other people that can't really affect your business, then you're doing it as a brag. It's a sneak brag. You doing it so they could smile and say, "Man, you doing good." I don't give a fuck what people think I'm doing. So it doesn't matter. We've made moves I've not told anybody about because who cares? We made those moves. We decided we were going to do this, we were going to do that, and that was good enough. But what a lot of people do is they make moves or they do things. I buy her uh, a ring or a watch or something expensive, and then I got to make sure that she go around accidentally reaching for stuff. Hey, make sure when we go over there, you reach so they can see that new watch. You know what I'm saying?
That's
Or
yeah.
they can see your
People
ring.
been doing it for the gram for years
Man,
before it was a gram,
before it was a gram, you ain't lying. You ain't lying. I got you.
and
I got
I've
you. So
never done it for the
this the
gram.
hustle. I got you a new ring. Make sure you cough at least twice while we over there. Cover your mouth with your ring. So that type of shit. That type of shit. I got my nephew. My nephew had a birthday, man. He turned I think 11 years old, and I got him stock for his birthday.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Now here's the situation. I got him stock in Southwest Airlines. He likes airplanes and avionics and all that kind of stuff.
Okay. Okay.
And
Well thought out.
so I got him stock. I had bought him in his younger years, like 2 or 3 years before that. I had bought him a model plane, a Southwest plane, and he got it up in his room and all that. Then a year after that, I think I got him like some like a lamp that was, like a silhouette neon, shape of an airplane. Like he's big in the airplanes now. I know he's growing up now, and I want to get him out of that because it's inappropriate at this point for me to be getting him stuffed airplanes and shit. That's whack. So I'm like, okay, I want to stick with the theme because I know that's where he go, but I'm trying to, graduate this shit a little bit. So I get him stock in Southwest. Now, I think that shit is cool. He doesn't really get it, but he think it sounds good because he owns part of this airline company.
Hmm.
The issue is my sister knows that where we from and the people that we fool with, they don't get it. They don't understand. Like this is not a great gift. It's not, and, and even to the point where people will say, "Well, how much was it?" It's like, well, wait a second. Let's say it was $300. It's just for the sake of this conversation. If you say now where I'm from, if it's $300, and my wife would say this too, yeah, I'd rather you just give me the money. So instead of giving you 300, that at some point in time, 10 years from now, could turn into 3,000, 4,000, 5,000. You just rather have $300 cash and then not have nothing to show for it. I have no idea what you it was just cash. And but once again, a lot of people want to. If I get my wife something and she's determined to tell people how much I love her based on gifts and things, that's her love language. Then the gifts and things have to be something that people can comprehend and translate. When she tells that I got my nephew stock, people can't find a one-to-one translation emotionally to realize how valuable or invaluable that is. But if she say, well, he got him a dirt bike, or he got him, or he got him a
You gotta
PS5,
dumb down your gifts. Yeah.
man, you got to man for public consumption. And this is what I'm saying. I'm glad that you said it that way. Every time you doing something for public consumption, you dumbing it down. You cheating
Damn. Yeah.
whoever you give it to, you cheating them because you dumbing it down to make sure it translates.
Because the thought, anytime anybody says you could have just gave me the money,
Mm-hmm.
to me that says you don't get nothing, and they can
What,
take it wherever they want to. And I'll just say, well, Jesus didn't say I want some myrrh either, did he?
what,
No, you don't get to pick your gifts. The gift is what I thought of you and gave you.
well, here's the funny part. When you say it's funny because you hit a bar and didn't even realize it. Anytime someone says you could have just gave me money, they didn't get nothing. They didn't get what you was trying to give them in the sentiment nor the gift.
Yeah,
You
okay,
know what I'm
okay,
saying?
okay,
They
yeah. I
didn't
didn't
get it.
realize it.
They
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
get it. But when you have those type of situations, that's when you realize you're not running or you're not operating with people that deserve your investment. You're not with someone who did anytime. Let me say this. I got people that I fuck with that I can be my authentic, funny, humorous self with and don't filter my jokes and just say what I say. And sometimes it's dark humor, sometimes it's light, whatever the case may be. But I know the ones that I can slip jokes in and they feel more excited about the joke because they realize if it's 10 people standing there, two of them got it and they wanted it too. Like it's layers,
Yeah,
it's clever, you know what I mean? And so
right.
those are more valuable friendships to me. Those are more valuable associations when I can uh exhibit that type of range in how I express myself. That's generating for me. That's exciting for me. But when it's a
It's
situation
all
where, like I said, I'm dumbing it down, I'm losing something in translation when I'm dumbing it down and have to translate just for you to get it. And that
you
becomes an
wasting
issue.
effort. That doesn't feel good when you wasting effort.
Anytime you got to explain the joke, it's not funny anymore. It's just not.
I had a professor that he gave us a test and he gave us bonus questions.
Mhm,
Some people got like 120
mhm.
and they was excited. And I think I got like probably maybe a high B or something. But the people who were doing the the 120 or whatever, they was laughing and they was celebrating. He was like, "Oh yeah, the highest I could put in here is 100 though. So that means you studied too much." He busted their bubble and let
It's the
us
law of
laugh.
diminishing returns. Absolutely. Unless you
Right,
can
right. He's
apply this
like,
20 to the next test, it's the law of diminishing returns. It's kind of like the overtime rule where you work so much overtime, they say that, and I don't, I've had this for so many years, but you work too much overtime to where it fool you off in taxes. You know, that was the myth, you know?
right.
so but I think so that's really what it is back to evaluating where you are, being willing to make adjustments to get to what you feel like you need. But the thing about it is you can't say I deserve this kind of person or I deserve this kind of lifestyle. I'm not going to change anything because if I just stay here, it's going to come to me. Life is about going to get it and then making sure that you keep it because it ain't about getting stuff, it's about keeping stuff. You can leverage everything and go get something only to have a repo man come and get that thing back from you when you run out. But
Right.
you got to figure out, okay, what can I get that's sustainable? It's a lot of people that's done got cars that couldn't keep up with the cars, that's done got houses that couldn't keep up with the houses, and then got women that couldn't keep up with the women. You know what I'm saying? And for men,
Yeah.
that's a financial dynamic more often than not. But for women, that's an emotional dynamic. She done got what to do what she can't keep up with.
This concludes another episode of the Hollow Points Podcast, where we act as your therapeutic outlet on topics many think about but are afraid to speak on.
Oh, you're welcome.